Picture this. You're taking a perfectly relaxing shower, when suddenly, the shower curtain bulges inward and seemingly attacks you. Or maybe you've been driving down the highway, passing a massive semi-truck, and felt your car mysteriously veer right toward it. So why does this happen? The answer isn't a ghost in your bathroom or bad steering. It's actually a fundamental law of physics. When you turn on the shower, that high-velocity stream of water and air creates a region of lower pressure inside the shower stall. Because the standard atmospheric pressure on the outside is now relatively higher, it creates a net force that pushes the curtain right into you. And you guessed it, the exact same thing happens with the fast-moving air squeezed between your car and that truck. By the end of this lecture, you're going to completely understand the physics concept behind this, the formula that proves it, and exactly how to spot it in real-world applications. All right, let's get into Section 1, Bernoulli's Principle Explained. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Wait, why does the pressure drop when a fluid moves faster? It almost feels completely backward, right? I mean, if water is rushing violently through a hose, shouldn't the pressure be higher? To understand why this happens, we have to look at the work-energy theorem. When a fluid flows into a narrower channel, its speed increases. That means its kinetic energy is also increasing. But where does that extra energy come from? Well, it comes from the net work done on the fluid by a pressure difference. As a result, the pressure absolutely must drop in a rapidly moving fluid in order to conserve energy. So the golden rule to remember here is high-speed fluid equals lower pressure and low-speed fluid equals higher pressure. Now that we've got the concept down, let's move to the math. Section 2, Building the Equation, with Daniel Bernoulli. Bernoulli's equation isn't just some random string of math to memorize. At its core, it is a direct application of the conservation of energy principle applied to an incompressible, frictionless fluid. Let's build this equation step by step, just like we're standing together at a whiteboard. Because it's based on the conservation of energy, each term represents energy per unit volume. Step 1 is the pressure energy. Step 2 is the kinetic energy per unit volume, which we write as 1/2 times the fluid density, rho, times velocity squared. And step 3 is the gravitational potential energy per unit volume, written as density times gravity times height. The sum of these three components remains perfectly constant as a fluid flows along a path. Okay, let's make this a little easier to digest. What if we remove height from the equation entirely? What happens to the math if the fluid just flows at a perfectly constant depth? We get the simplified version, often called Bernoulli's principle. Pressure 1 plus 1/2 rho v1 squared equals pressure 2 plus 1/2 rho v2 squared. Because the height terms simply cancel out, this brilliantly illustrates our earlier point. An increase in velocity, the v term, guarantees a drop in pressure, the p term, just for the equation to remain perfectly balanced. Let's connect this to the real world. Section 3, Real-world wings and sails. This simple drop in pressure is exactly what drives airplane wings, sailboats, and even everyday items around your house. Take an airplane wing. It has a characteristic shape where it's tilted upward slightly and the upper surface is actually longer. This physically forces the air to flow faster over the top of the wing. Faster air means lower pressure on top, so the relatively higher pressure underneath pushes up, creating upward lift. Our source text draws a really perfect analogy for this. Sails also have the characteristic shape of a wing. The pressure on the front side of a sail is lower than the pressure on the back. It's literally the exact same pressure difference we see on an airplane wing, just turned sideways, generating forward thrust. And this brings us to a fascinating application called entrainment. This is when we use the reduced pressure in high-velocity fluids to literally force other fluids into the stream. Think about a classic perfume atomizer. You squeeze the bulb, which shoots a high-velocity jet of air right over a tube. That fast air creates a low-pressure zone, which sucks the liquid perfume up the tube and sprays it out into a mist. Paint sprayers and car carburetors use this exact same technique. All right, let's introduce a new variable. Section 4, Torricelli and fluid power. What happens when we look at massive height differences instead of just constant depth? Imagine water gushing from a large tube at the base of a massive dam. Because the pressure at the top of the reservoir and the pressure of the water exiting the tube below are both just atmospheric pressure, they cancel out of Bernoulli's equation. This gives us Torricelli's theorem. The velocity of the water escaping the dam equals the square root of 2gh. Interestingly, this means the water flows out at the exact same speed it would have if you simply dropped a drop of water straight down from the top of the reservoir. Now, consider this massive number, 36.8 kilowatts. That's roughly 50 horsepower. In our source material, this is the raw power required for a fire truck pump to take water from a hydrant and push it up a 10-meter ladder into a fire hose nozzle. Wait, this is an important moment. You might be sitting there wondering, what does physical fluid flow actually have to do with mechanical power measured in watts or horsepower? Think about the fundamental definition of power. Power is simply energy divided by time. If we take Bernoulli's equation, which remember gives us energy per unit volume, and we multiply it by the fluid's flow rate, which is volume per unit time, the volumes cancel out and we are left with power. Fluid power equals Bernoulli's equation times flow rate. This is exactly how we calculate the mechanical power supplied by a massive fire engine pump, or, if we look at biology, the power output of the human heart pumping blood through your body. Before we finish up, let's lock in these foundational concepts. Section 5, Summary and Final Challenge. Here is your mental checklist for today. First, fluid flow is bound by the conservation of energy, which is all Bernoulli's equation really is. Second, because of that conservation, high speed in a fluid mandates a drop in pressure. And third, this very simple mathematical relationship is what drives massive forces all around our world, from lifting airplane wings and pushing sails to powering entrainment devices like carburetors and atomizers. I'm going to leave you with this final practical thought, straight from the problem exercises of our textbook. Why are roofs sometimes pushed off vertically, exploding outward during a tropical cyclone or tornado? Think about the extremely high-velocity wind flying over the top of the house and what that does to the pressure above the roof compared to the calm air inside. I'll let you apply your new knowledge to solve that one. See you in the next lecture.